All right. What's up, everybody? How is everybody's Wednesday? Good to see everyone. Welcome in, Ross, Specious, Mist, Laughily, 3D Code Warrior. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the stream today. It's going to be another one. It's going to be another one. I've got my coffee, and I'm going to try and keep this to an hour. I have no idea if that's actually going to work. I'll do my best. But there's some good stuff on this one. I've got the apartment I'm in has window cleaners. So you might see right over here, right about here, you might see some person hanging around, hanging off the side of the building. It's FBI. They've caught on to me. Peter Thiel and Palantir have all caught up to me. Tesla caught up to me. They're going to break through the window. And so in case you see some movement here, that's what it is today. All right. Yeah, accidentally got rid of all caffeine now in July. Nice. All right, folks. Shall we get started with the Daily Tech News? Are you all ready? I know I am. I'm ready. I think it's going to be a fun one today because I know what's coming up, and none of you do. Nobody knows what I've got planned today. Not even the regulars, not even the usuals. So it's going to be good. I have a lot. We're just gonna take it one step at a time and see what we get through. So let's begin. Hang on. Let me take a sip. All right, here we go. So there's something that's been happening with Chinese hackers and SharePoint servers, according to Microsoft. And it seems to be getting more serious. I was going to wait on this to report on it, but I saw an article today that's a follow-up to an article I saw a few days ago, and it's getting pretty bad. So let's jump into this one. Chinese hackers behind SharePoint server attacks, Microsoft says. So what is this? Essentially what's happening here is that Chinese state-sponsored actors seem to be attacking SharePoint servers. And they're using a remote code execution vulnerability chain. And these SharePoint servers, well, for people who don't know what it is, might as well just, what is SharePoint? And so what we have here, we'll go right, let's not take the AI overview, right? What is SharePoint, right, from Microsoft? So it's a secure place to store, organize, share, and access information from any device. All you need is a web browser, such as whatever, right? And so you store all your information up here. Super secure, right? Super secure. And according to Microsoft, this is the thing. According to Microsoft, the exploit goes back to China. That's what it points to. And it's Linen Typhoon and Violet Typhoon. We also have another Typhoon group that we know is linked to China, Salt Typhoon. We've talked about them as well, and I have some articles on that for an upcoming stream if I ever get to it. In any case, so these SharePoint servers are now being attacked, and the technical details are posted here, but who really cares? You just craft a post request to a SharePoint server and away you go. This is pretty bad. It's looking pretty bad. However, the problem is, let me see if I can find the next one here. Where is it? Man, I can't seem to find it. Maybe it's this one right here. Is this it? No, there's a follow-up article and I can't seem to find it for some reason, but it is included here. Okay, so CNBC reports that hackers have already compromised the U.S. National Nuclear Security Administration agency responsible for maintaining the country's nuclear weapons stockpile. Okay. Other confirmed victims include the U.S. Department of Education, Florida's Department of Revenue, and the Rhode Island General Assembly, Bloomberg reported, citing individuals familiar with the matter. Dozens of organizations and more than 100 servers have been identified as compromised, with more likely to come. So, we have a successful hack from China into the U.S. National Nuclear Security Administration Center, the state of which we're not 100% sure how much access they have, how much control they have, because the details of the hack are just how they got in, not necessarily what they get to control. And if SharePoint servers have just information like, documents and stuff as what's defined here, then maybe it's not so bad. Maybe we shouldn't freak out just yet. But if any of that information contains further points of failure that China or these Chinese state actors, it's not necessarily China. You have to remember, just because they're linked to China doesn't actually mean that it's sponsored by China or China approved, right? So you got to be careful about how you word it. But they definitely seem to be linked to China in one way or another, and you have to consider that maybe China itself, the Chinese government, is keeping a close eye on this, because if you have access to U.S. National Nuclear Security Administration, Department of Education, blah, 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 blah. You're probably going to want to know about that. So I felt like I had to bring this up a little bit sooner than I normally do, these kinds of news topics, because it's no bueno. It's no bueno. So how about that for a starting point? And also, Laugh, shut up, okay? You don't know what the title is. You don't know what it means. You don't know anything, all right, Laugh? You don't get to come in here and tell me what you think you know. Okay? I'll tell you what you know. That's why you watch these streams, so that I can tell you how to think. All right? Let's keep going kind of in the cybersecurity direction here. So I'll pull up the next one. Massive data leak maps out years of Swedish citizens' private lives. And guess what we have, boys? We have an unsecured server that exposed hundreds of millions of detailed records on Swedish citizens and companies, offering a data goldmine for anyone who stumbles on it. A misconfigured Elasticsearch server has exposed a goldmine of business intelligence data with hundreds of millions of highly detailed records tied to Swedish individuals and organizations. So guess what we get to do? Guess what we get to do? Let me pop this open. And so we get to change the bucket count now. I'm pretty sure this was updated as of yesterday, so I think we can pop this up to 272. So we're making it 272, boys. We're making it 272. There we go. We got it. Cyber News researchers identified the unsecured database, which did not require any authentication and was fully accessible to the public internet. The leaked data consisted of over 100 million records dated from 2019 to 2024, spread across 25 separate indices, with some datasets ballooning to more than 200 gigs in size. And you can see a bunch of the data here. What was leaked is this Krispy Kreme level. Are we at Krispy Kreme 10 out of 10 leakage? Let's find out, shall we? Full legal names, including history of previous names. Ouch, I've never seen that one before. Swedish personal identity numbers, date of birth and gender, address history, both in Sweden and abroad, civil status and information about deceased individuals. Oof, never seen that one before. Foreign addresses for immigrants, debt records, payment remarks, bankruptcy history, property ownership indicators, income tax data spanning several years. Oof, activity and event logs, including income statement submissions, migration status, and address updates. Many years of financial and behavioral data exposed. I'm going to be honest. This is pretty high up there on the Krispy Kreme scale. this is pretty high. And I don't know where it lands exactly, but I would put this at least an 8 out of 10 on the Krispy Kreme scale. Maybe even a 9. Because if you have a history of previous names, you've got bankruptcy history, property ownership, stuff like that. I don't know. It might even be a 10. I mean, some of this information even Krispy Kreme didn't have, and Krispy Kreme knew how many dumps you took in a day. Like it's yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of this, but it's really, really bad. So there we go. If you're in Sweden, uh, please be careful. All right. Frozen, thank you for resubbing a month at tier 1. You know what? We're going to put that up. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. We're going to have to change now. We're going to have to update the goal up at the top. So let me do that. Frozen, thanks for doing that. I really appreciate it. That's extremely helpful. In a number of different ways, and I can't thank you enough, man. Thank you for the sub there on the Twitch side. Much appreciated, brother. Mist, I've noticed that all these products and companies with massive data leaks have something in common. They weren't using React. I don't know. You do the math. You know what, Mist? One of these days, I'm going to make good on my word, and I'm going to permaban you. Been busy with accounting homework this month. Yeah. Well, how are you doing, Frozen? Good to see you. Laughing Panda, good to see you. Okay. Good to see you guys. All right. So there's that one. Let's see. We also have continuing on in the cybersecurity vein. Let's keep going with that. We have this one. This one I've been kind of holding on to for a while. Critical Linux pseudo flaw allows any user to take over the system. Yeah. Yeah. Sudo will let you take over any Linux system. So what is this? Let's just get down to where this actually happened. So the bug first appeared in version 1.9.14 in June 2023. It was fixed in the latest version in June 30th, 2025. So make sure. It's been verified on Ubuntu and Fedora servers, but may include more systems. Now what happened here, it's a seldom used chroot option, chroot in sudo. This option modifies the working root directory for a specific process and limits access to the rest of the file system. It's intended to lock users to the home directory, but it allows breakouts. It doesn't require any sudo rules to be defined by the user, so you can have a locally unprivileged user just escalate their way out of it. What you have to do is you have to create an etc nsswitch.conf file under a user-specified root directory and trick sudo into loading the arbitrary shared library. This file defines how the system resolves user accounts, groups, hostnames, services, etc. So sudo maintainers confirm the issue, and then you can just chroot to run arbitrary commands, and away you go. This allows you to take full control of a system. Due to the risks of making the environment less secure, it is recommended that admins avoid using chroot options. Search your environment for any use of the chroot option. Review all sudo rules defined in sudoers and sudoers.d. If you don't know what that is, it's just a file that defines who can have like sudo access or super user something access, something like that. If the sudo rules are stored in LDAP, which is a directory to store your access credential stuff, I use tools like LDAP search to dump the rules. So be careful out there, all right? Chroot, chroot, whatever it is, be careful. You want to make sure that if you're doing sysadmin or DevOps stuff, or if you're running a Linux operating system, that you've got this on lock, all right? AH, how's it going? Good to see you. To find the precise records of individuals that would similarly like, I don't know what you're talking about, TMX. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not reading your wall of text, right? TMX, I'm not reading it. Okay, I have enough walls of text to read. I don't need to read yours on top of everything else. Jeez. LDAP is the reactive sysadmin. Yeah. Okay, I'll go with that. LDAP is a reactor sysadmin. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? I'm trying to find. Oh yeah, there's this one. Okay, this is the last one on cybersecurity. Yeah, perfect. This one I've been hanging on to for a little while. Qantas cyber attack affects 6 million customers. 6 million people have been said to be affected by cyber attack on the popular Australian airline Qantas, which doesn't exist because it's in Australia, which doesn't exist. And so the airline doesn't exist. And so the cyber incident never happened. And all those 6 million people also don't exist. However, if they did exist, hypothetically, customers who were affected by the breach had, this is like a 2 maybe out of 10 on the Krispy Kreme scale, names, email addresses, phone numbers, dates of birth, and frequent flyer numbers exposed. And that's it. Eh, eh, like, it's 2 out of 10 on the Krispy Kreme scale. Who cares? You know, yeah. I mean, this is enough to ruin a person's life, but it's 2 out of 10 in the Krispy Kreme scale, so whatever, right? Okay, now let's move on into some AI news. It's going to be a bit of a long and painful one, but you know what, AH? Mods, somebody time out AH for 10 seconds. Somebody time out AH for 10 seconds. Mods, I implore you, take that wall of text down. Take that disgusting wall. AH, you're getting timed out for 10 seconds. Now, mods could defy me. The mods could defy me and say, no, we're not going to listen to you. But don't push my benevolence. Laughingly timed out AH for 600. Oof. Oof. Oh, and it didn't even take out the text. You know why? Because he's damn VIP. He's a damn VIP, so his text stays up. Now you have to untime him up. Now you have to untime him. Now you literally have to untime him. Son of, I can't believe a mod listen. I can't believe Laugh listen to me. I don't believe it. They actually listen to me. Yeah, the censorship. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's crazy. Yeah, there we go. Removed it. Yeah. AH, that should teach you a lesson, AH. Never, don't ever mess with me. That's what you get, AH. That's what you get. All right. Okay. Professional journalist over here. Let's get into just a little bit of AI news, all right? Sam Altman speaks again and says AI will wreck entire job categories. Oh, really, Sam? And tell me how. Altman's at it again during a conference in Washington. OpenAI's chief executive spoke of a future where AI dominates, crushes jobs, and tells heads of state what to do. Altman, of course, has been acting like a self-appointed AI prophet for quite a while now. But even while industry observers ridicule his bizarre ideas and visions, the OpenAI CEO doesn't even think about stopping. No, he wants to go full on. He says that there are going to be entire swaths of industries that are going to completely disappear. In his words, totally, totally gone. And then he talks about customer support. And yet, what article did we go over yesterday? Does anyone remember the article we went over yesterday? Let me pull it up from my enlightenedprogramming.com website, which I have on the side here, so I can go back to my previous episodes, which if you tip or do a sub or anything like that, you ask for access and I'll hook you up. Let me see here. It's was it yesterday or was it the day before? Maybe it was the day before. Maybe it was episode 86. I'll find out. Let's try episode 86. Was it that one? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, in episode 86 of the Daily Tech News, how did call center support people in China feel about these AI assistants? They felt like it was complete and utter crap. So tell me again, Altman, how it's going to remove entire swaths of customer support people. It's not. And I want you to consider that even if it could, do you really want to be making appeals to issues that you're having as a fellow human to a machine who can't understand the context upon which you're appealing to get the kind of support that you might need, and perhaps even in an emergency situation. And the reason I bring that up is because there's an upcoming article I have where I am pretty sure that some places are looking at replacing 911 call centers with AI answer bots. Yep. In any case, let's continue. So Altman thinks that this is the bee's knees, and AI is like super smart, capable, and you can just do whatever you want. It can do everything that any customer support agent could do. It doesn't make mistakes. It's quick. You call once, the thing happens. It's done, and everybody should just use it. ChatGPT, by the way, most of the time gives you better diagnostics than most doctors in the world. Yes, Altman literally said that. He literally said that. He said that diagnostics, like medical diagnoses from ChatGPT, are better than most doctors in the world. Now, he did add that he wouldn't trust his medical fate to ChatGPT without a human, or ChatGupta, without a human doctor in the loop. And we've gone over the studies that show that this is a terrible idea. AI chatbots should absolutely not be trusted for any medical advice whatsoever, at all, period. But Altman needs to be a good CEO and sell his product, and so he's doing his job. But there you go. A nice little, intro, a nice little lightweight intro into the topic of the AI stuff. Let's jump over to this one. This is a scientific study, which I won't read in whole, but we're going to just, build through a few AI topics here. So in this scientific study, and I'll pop it over here, what some researchers did is they took the chain of thought reasoning that some of these LLMs go through and tell you as they come up with solutions to answers. So the chain of thought is just the thought process, that deep learning thought process thing that you see as it steps through one thing at a time, trying to figure out the answer. And what they did was they looked at whether or not you could go into these chain of thought step-by-step processes and kind of like inject some additional instructions along the way. So they took some really simple problems and then they broke down the chain of thought, kind of like when you're stepping through a system, like with a debugger, and then you can kind of inject stuff into the debugger. And what did they find? This, hang on, let me just go back. Okay. Our result hints that, contrary to previous claims in the literature, chain of thought's performance improvements do not stem from the model learning general algorithmic procedures via demonstrations, but depend on carefully engineering highly problem-specific prompts. This spotlights drawbacks of chain of thought, especially the sharp trade-off between possible performance gains and the amount of human labor necessary to generate examples with correct reasoning traces. Do you guys understand what's going on here? What's going on here is that people believe that this chain of thought stuff points to the idea that LLMs can actually think and have better thinking capabilities as they step through things one step at a time. Unfortunately, that's not the case. This study proves that these systems don't think more, and that adding more reasoning capabilities and then looking into them with chain of thought doesn't improve their output. The only thing that improves the output, a high amount of human labor interceding between different steps of the output and coming up with really, really, really narrow, specific, very focused prompts that the LLM then has to stick to. And when you give the LLM that, then maybe you get better performance output in terms of output and quality and all of that. But giving these things more reasoning ability, no matter what you think that reasoning ability is, does not work. It doesn't improve things. At least nowhere near as close as having a human put in a crap ton of effort into making the LLMs do what it has to do. So if you'd like to read the study, you absolutely can. I did read the study by myself, but there isn't really anything in particular that I wanted to bring out specifically. That's kind of why I'm just doing a very cursory, just giving you guys the abstract on it. Okay, so there you go. Hey, Vinny, good to see you. One of the LLMs gave me lethal advice on a basic nutrition question. Enough potassium. Jeez. Jeez. All right. Let's have a look at this one. Stop flooding us with AI-based grant applications, begs Health Institute. Already reeling from staff cuts, the health agency is choking on slop. That's right. So, amid expectations that the Trump administration will introduce an AI action plan on Wednesday, which, by the way, they have, and they're going full force on AI, the U.S. National Institute of Health, NIH, are pleading for less of it. In guidance issued last week to researchers, NIH, part of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, disallowed grant applications created with the help of generative AI. NIH will not consider applications that are either substantially developed by AI or contain sections substantially developed by AI to be original ideas of applicants, the health agency notice explains. If the detection of AI is identified post-award, NIH may refer the matter to the Office of Research Integrity to determine whether there is research misconduct while simultaneously taking enforcement actions including but not limited to disallowing costs, withholding future awards, wholly or in part suspending the grant, and possible termination. Can you guys see where this is headed? Few scientists submit an average of more than 6 applications per year, NIH says, but AI tools have led some to submit more than 40 separate research applications in a single submission round. Do you see where it's headed? Can you see where this is headed? This is headed to the entire undermining of the scientific community, to the point where you're no longer going to be able to tell good science from bad science, and you're going to have to throw out years of work down the road when all the bad science is overwhelmed by all of these AI-generated outputs. And then what you're going to have to tell people who did good science is to go redo their good science because it's completely useless. We're going to lose out on years of scientific work because of this. So this isn't a good thing. But for sure, I mean, let's continue moving forward, full speed ahead, right? There's nothing bad that can come out of this. The health agency concedes that AI tools may be appropriate for limited tasks, like preparing research applications, even as it warns that AI use can result in plagiarism, invented citations, and other scientific misconduct. All right. Fun times to see the scientific system break down before our very eyes. Next. One in 6 U.S. workers pretends to use AI to please the boss. AI anxiety is real and it's causing bizarre behavior. If you're one of the people who pretend to use AI at work, then worry not. There's likely another 15 of you per 100 employees in your company. This is from howdy.com. According to the survey, 3/4 of people's employers expect them to use AI in some way, and half in some official capacity, and another quarter informally. This leaves some employees using it under duress. Over 1 in 5, or 22%, use it in situations where they're not confident in doing so because they feel pressure to drink the Kool-Aid. That ties in with a quarter of employees who told howdy.com that they often or always feel overwhelmed by this new tech. Let's not assume AI makes work easier either, despite what companies like Microsoft will tell you. A full third of employees tell howdy.com that learning and using AI, along with checking for its inevitable mistakes, takes as much time as doing their job without it. That assumes you're checking its results in the first place. 2/3 of workers just blindly accept AI's output without due diligence, per KPMG and the University of Melbourne. Lying about using AI, lying about not using AI. A full 16%, 1 in 6 people, sometimes lie about using AI just to keep bosses happy. What would happen if they just fessed up that they prefer actually using their brains? Many worry they would get passed over for promotion in favor of people who have merged with the Borg. In late 2023, EY did a survey of 1,000 white-collar workers in the US and found two-thirds of them harbored this fear. The anxiety over AI use leads to some bizarre paradoxes. Here's one. While some people pretend to use AI because they're anxious about it, others use it, but pretend they don't. Slack's Workforce Index last October, which surveyed over 17,000 global desk workers, found 48% of them were uncomfortable telling managers that they use AI at work. They were afraid of being seen as not competent or industrious enough. Many felt that using AI was like cheating. We've covered a few of these studies. I believe we did the KBMG one. I think we did the Slack one. I'm pretty sure we did the EY one. I could be wrong. Was it the workforce one that we did, the Slack workforce? I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah. This anxiety about AI is as much of a thing as social media anxiety, email overload, and Zoom fatigue. That's interesting. An overlap between AI and some other things that exist out in the social digital ecosphere that people think is also bad for you. The reasons are multifaceted. One is the fear of being replaced. This year, nonpartisan think tank, the Pew Research Center, found that about over half of the over 5,000 U.S. workers it surveyed were worried about the future use of AI in the workplace. This one is more about a self-reported kind of like how people feel about AI. And I think we've gone over, it might have actually been this one and a related one in the past. So that's good. A third of those people think that AI will lead to fewer jobs and feel overwhelmed. In spite of the rhetoric about AI creating more opportunities, companies and governments seem to be proving their fears right again and again and again. We covered the Duolingo. We haven't covered the IRS, but here it is. IRS hopes to replace fired enforcement workers with AI. And the Amazon CEO, we've kind of covered it a little bit just in passing. And AI slop is overwhelming projects like Curl, Python, Open Collective, academic publishers, journalism, web search, and social media, because human people cannot keep up with the amount of slop being generated, nor can they process it correctly or in time in order to figure out what's good and what's not good. Then we have then we have people like the companies telling employees that they have to use it as part of their role at work, or even the dichotomy of, if you're going to do an interview process, you can't use AI, but if you're going to work in our company, then you must use AI. It's really, really weird. Okay. So there you go. I thought that was a good article. It's absolutely crazy. Now, let me see chat here. 2 out of 3 workers blindly accept AI outputs per KBMG. Yep. Likely my company's AI implementation was incompetent, so I failed. That's good. I'm glad. Laughing Panda says, I don't feel overwhelmed, but after a survey for management, it came out that the majority of people in roles of management feel they don't have enough help with their tasks, so they gave out ChatGPT Enterprise accounts to anyone in management that wanted one. Perfect. Well, let's get into management and how well AI does for management. Is this really the kind of future that you guys want? Is this truly what you want? I'm going to switch over now. You tell me if this is really what you want. Who gets promoted and fired? More than half of U.S. managers use AI to decide. Huh. Are you sure you want AI deciding whether you should get promoted or fired? And yet, almost all HR managers in the U.S. use AI at work, and a majority of them rely on it to decide who gets promotions, raises, or fired. According to a poll by Resume Builder, your career path depends on an AI chatbot because your manager decided not to do their own research or to account for the work that you've done. 1,342 managers were polled. 66% of them use a large language model such as ChatGupta for guidance on layoffs. A majority use AI to determine raises and promotions. That's 78% and 77% respectively. It's been used for filtering resumes and performance data and so on and so forth. But Are you sure this is what we want to be doing? Are you sure we want to be putting the career path of people in the hands of AI? And if a manager decides that they want to use an LLM to bleed into it the some bias they have against you because they don't like you and they want you out of the picture, what about the LLM sycophancy problem, which is highlighted in the underlying text here, where you can kind of prompt the LLM such that it takes your bias and then acts upon that, and then you can fire somebody, and then you can go, well, it wasn't me, bro, it was the AI, bro. You're just not good enough. The AI said you're not good enough, bro. And then out you go. Is this the future we want? We really want to go in this direction? I don't know. I don't know. TMX analysts also say 80 to 90% of corps building AI apps haven't gotten past proof of concept. Yeah, I should make sure that I've read the KPMG one. I'm pretty sure that we've covered it on a previous one, but I'll double check and make sure. Yeah, I kind of feel like we have, but yeah, I'll double check and make sure. If we haven't, we'll cover the KPMG one. We'll go through all of it. We'll go through all the data. All the data, we'll go through it because I'm not afraid of data. I'm not afraid to use my brain. This high school dropout room temperature IQ dummy is not afraid. Okay, next up. If you thought, if you just kind of to Vinny's point here with regards um, to the potassium, all right, to the potassium thing, Vinny, I got one for you. All right, here we go. Google DeepMind spin-off company very close to human trials for its AI-designed drugs. Google DeepMind's chief business officer says Alphabet's drug discovery company Isomorphic Labs is preparing to launch human trials of AI-designed drugs, according to a report in Fortune, pairing cutting-edge AI with pharma veterans to design medicines faster, cheaper, and more accurately. There are people sitting in our office in King's Cross, London, working and collaborating with AI to design drugs for cancer. That's happening right now. After years in development, Murdoch says human clinical trials for Isomorphic's AI-assisted drugs are finally in sight. The next big milestone is actually going out to clinical trials, starting to put these things into human beings, he said. We're staffing up now. We're getting close. So there you go. There you go. So not only do we want AI to be operating whether or not you get a promotion or you get fired, now we want AI to be generating drugs for us. And we've already seen how AI generates hardware. We went over that in the NVIDIA GPU one. That was, I think, approximately 1 or 2 episodes ago. And, we were already there. Hey, let's get it to design some drugs for us and let's all ingest it. Shouldn't be a problem, right? There's no problem here. I don't see any problem here. Full speed ahead, gentlemen. Full speed ahead. I can't wait for AI-generated drugs. Let's continue, shall we? Let's continue on the AI trash talk. Yeah, it'll give you big rat dick. Yeah. It'll give you big rat dick. That's right. You need big rat dick. I just want to pull up I want to pull that up because it's, hang on. Um, rat dick scientific study. Yeah, here we go. I just want you guys, I love how, I should put this one on a bookmark somewhere so I can, I should put it on my stream deck. I should be able to push a button and it should take me directly to this picture. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do at the end of the stream. I'm setting this up as a button. Let me just go down and I'm going to inject this straight into your eyeballs. Oh, it's coming at you, boys, right here. I'm going to stream deck button this puppy. All right. You want this. This is a peer-reviewed scientific study. It got published in a scientific journal, something to do with like rats and some kind of medical thing. And it got passed by peer review. And you can see that this entire study was completely AI generated and it made it. It made it. And you want these AI systems to generate drugs for you based on rat dicks with DCKs? Look at that. Look at those balls, yo. Look at those sweet, sweet balls. The science here. Yeah, look at the whiskers. Look at how many whiskers it has. There's so much wrong with this. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. The sperm cells, you know? And look, it has to tell you that there's a rat here. It has to tell you. Anyways, the next article, Springer Nature book on machine learning is full of made up citations. Springer Nature published a $169 machine learning textbook in April, containing citations that appear to be largely fabricated, according to an investigation by Retraction Watch. The site checked 18 of the 46 citations in Mastering Machine Learning from Basics to Advanced by Govindakumar Madhavan and found two-thirds either did not exist or contained substantial errors. 3 researchers contacted by Retraction Watch confirmed their supposedly authored works were fake or incorrectly cited. So the paper appeared in IEEE. It was published, which was actually an unpublished, Arxiv preprint. And there were like it said, there were sections of it where the citations were completely wrong. The authors were like, "Hey, I see my name in here. You can go look at the original study here." And the professors reached out. They're like, "Hey, why are you referencing me? I never said that." Okay, like this guy here, professor of computer science, said, "I didn't write any of this. Why am I the author of this? I didn't write any of it. Why is it in here?" And so you have Mastering Machine Learning Basics just full of errors and all kinds of bad citations. Fantastic. Go learn machine learning from a machine that can't reliably, point to anything real. This seems good, right? Nothing wrong with this. Now, have you ever heard the argument? Yeah, but look at all the benchmarks these AI systems pass. They pass so many benchmarks. The benchmarks are they're so crazy. They're so wild. These things are kicking ass and taking names. Here's the problem with the benchmarks. So we're going to go into just a tiny little bit into the scientific study. When it comes to benchmarks with regards to software engineering and LLMs, these software engineering benchmarks are complete and utter horse crap. Nope. Let's make it bigger. Elephant crap. Okay, because it's even bigger than that. It's not horse crap size. It's elephant crap size. Scientific study by Purdue University and Microsoft, 27th of June, 2025. The software engineering benchmark illusion, when state-of-the-art LLMs remember instead of reason. Do you know what they discovered in here? They discovered that when you ask an LLM to solve a problem without giving it any context about your file or the files, or about the code base, if you present a problem and you ask it to solve it, it will simply remember, and just from memory, remember where the problem originated from. 76% of LLMs have an accuracy in identifying buggy file paths because they remembered seeing it before, not because they reasoned on it and came to a conclusion. Which means you can get an answer to your problem without it ever looking at your code base. This is a huge problem because it undermines the entirety of the software engineering benchmarks that these systems rely on to state how good they are. When you take away that fact and you start to actually apply more context so that the LLM now has the ability to actually look at your code, that accuracy rates drop to 53% on the high end. That's on the high end. And you can see how they did it. Again, you can just go look through the study here, the way that they structured their prompts and stuff. I did read this too. Nothing particularly, a deep in here that I want to bring out, except for that when you ask the LLM to try and figure out a problem, it relies on its memory, it relies on training data, it relies on problems that have already been solved that it's seen before. And what this what this does tell me is that, first of all, the entire benchmark system around these models is overfitted. LLMs are overfitted to pass the benchmarks, so they're tuned and tweaked so that they pass all the questions that a benchmark will tell them. Second, they only pass because they remember, or for the most part. I mean, a 50% on the high end success rate is abysmal numbers, right? So they rely on memory. And third of all, how does this affect other benchmarks that are not software engineering based? What about the other benchmarks? How much does it remember out of like the Math Olympiad stuff that I have lined up that we haven't gone over yet? I'm just kind of waiting on some stuff to come out from it. But math, medical stuff. I don't know, summarizing books, or things like this, right? How much of it is a reliance on memory as opposed to actual reasoning? Hey, hot tip. There is no reasoning. It's all memory. That's all it is. These things can't reason for you. They can't actually solve problems. They just have to accept already solved problems and then regurgitate them to you. To be frank, the giant rat dick study was retracted. Yeah, here's the problem, Purecoin. The giant rat dick study was retracted. I agree. However, it passed peer review. It was published, and in relation to that, I believe on episode 86, if you go back to that, we went over an article that took a survey of all of these AI generated papers. 32 million AI generated scientific papers were at the very least pre-printed in 2024 alone. 32 million. How many of those do you think passed? Rat dick was a sample, one sample of 32 million. Even if you take like I don't know, like a generous approach to the total number, that's at least a few 100,000 that were fully AI generated. And how many of those passed? And all it takes is for a few to pass, and then you have to go back through the entirety of the scientific history of published articles at any given year and throw all the work out because you have no idea what's what, right? What's up, Bird? That's why I can't write anything correctly for obscure old code. Correct, Bird. That's why it's really good at React. Regarding benchmarks, are the LLMs aware that they're being tested and then adapt? In some cases, yes. Yeah, we did. We went through that with reinforcement learning. We went through that with chain of thought reasoning. I've covered both of those several times on the daily tech news streams. So if you do reinforcement learning, then which is like a human, provides output on like whether something was good or bad in terms of did the LLM answer correctly. The LLMs understand that and they go, oh, I see. So I just have to appear as if I'm functioning correctly. And then the user the end user who judges me will judge me nicely and they will absolutely change their behavior. This is a known problem even from philosophical times before AI was used in this way. We're going back like 10 or 20 years. This was philosophically proven to be true. On top of that, we have the chain of thought. So what happens is when the LLM model understands that its reasoning steps are being looked at. So when it does the chain of thought, like you can see this on Grok or ChatGPT or whatever, ChatGupta, when you turn on deep learning or deep research or whatever, and it does a step-by-step thing and it takes like a minute to figure out what the current time is. When it knows that that's on and there's somebody watching, it will lie to you about the steps it's taking to get to the conclusion, because it understands that it needs you to think that it reasoned correctly. And so it just does a statistical model. When I showed this reasoning, what did the user tell me in terms of the quality of my output? Oh, this kind of reasoning gave me a thumbs up. That kind of reasoning gave me a thumbs down. I'm just going to tell everybody the thumbs up reasoning then. That's it, because it's just rewards. That's it, goals and rewards. That's all it is. So and then on top of that, you have a third problem, which we've already covered as well, which is that LLMs do get overfitted. They get tweaked and tuned by the humans who are using them. Why? Because it looks really good when you pass benchmarks. So what has been proven is that the LLM models that pass benchmarks are not the LLM models that you use when you open up your web interface and go to ChatGupta or whatever you're going to, Grok or whatever it is, and you use that. They're two different models. One is meant to pass a benchmark. One is meant for general consumer usage. Okay. Now, we've got another one here, another AI one, and then we're going to jump into well, okay, we'll just take it one step at a time here. So here's another AI one. We have a police department that had to apologize for sharing AI doctored evidence photos on social media. A Maine police department has acknowledged it inadvertently shared an AI altered photo of drug evidence on social media. The Westbrook Police Department showed a collection of drug paraphernalia purportedly seized during a recent drug bust on Brackett Street. And the officers involved apparently took some photos, but the photos that they uploaded were not the photos that were taken. And instead, what they did was they posted some AI photos that had a bunch of, AI generated, a drug bust kind of a thing. And people were like, yay, congratulations. And then they're like, uh-oh. And here's what they said. Unbeknownst to anyone, when the app added the patch, because the patch was generate AI stuff, right? And so when the app added the patch, it altered the packaging and some of the other attributes in the photograph. None of us caught it or realized it. So apparently, you can just inadvertently trigger AI to change the output of the entire. Here's the article. I'm realizing that it didn't show up. I apologize. This is a professional streamer here, but here it is. So apparently you can just inadvertently trigger an AI generated photo and then just upload it, and it looks realistic enough that even the police don't catch it. Right? It's fantastic. Okay, next. YouTube prepares crackdown on mass-produced and repetitive videos as concern over AI slop grows. Now, what's happening here is if you read the terms, the policies that YouTube has updated, you might be thinking, yay, YouTube's going to make it so you can't post AI slop. Nope, incorrect. What it does is it makes it so you can't mass post AI slop. You can post some AI slop. Now, what's going to happen to advertisers if you allow mass posting of AI slop? Well, what's going to happen is you're going to have a bunch of AI bots who love the AI slop come into your platform and overwhelm the human eyeballs. What advertiser is going to want to pay for AI eyeballs or bot eyeballs as opposed to human eyeballs? And this is one of the reasons why YouTube is clamping down on it and saying, hey, you can't do this as much. You really got to be really restrictive on what you do. And they kind of add some like wishy-washy terminology on what is a low amount or a minor amount, what is a mass amount, what kind of stuff constitutes AI generated output, yada, yada, yada. The article does talk about what kinds of things you do find as AI generated stuff. I mean, we can all come up with all kinds of examples that we see all the time, but here is one example that I thought stood out to me anyways. So down here, and another example, a true crime murder series on YouTube that went viral was found to be entirely AI generated, 404 Media reported earlier this year. Even YouTube CEO Neil Mohan's likeness was used in an AI generated phishing scam on the site, despite having tools in place that allowed users to report deepfake videos. So I don't know exactly where this is going to go. I think YouTube and other platforms like this are going to have to clamp down like hard on this, because as AI generated stuff gets generated, it's going to attract AI bots, and then you're going to have an advertiser problem. This is not sustainable. All right. So take that for what you will. Be careful if you're a content creator on YouTube. You're going to have to be careful what you spread. Yeah. Okay, we covered that one. We covered that one. Let me keep going. Covered that one. Okay. How about this? We're going to jump around just a little bit. Okay, we're going to pop up to a few different topics right now. It's going to include AI, but on a different vein. Let me see if I can find, I just want to get right to the Okay, here we go. All right, I got it now. So I'm going to go to the top, and you guys need to see this. The end user license agreement from Ubisoft. Do you guys want to know what Ubisoft wants you to do? Would you like to know what's included in this end user license agreement and what they would like for you to do? I'll show you. This EULA will terminate automatically if you fail to comply with any of the terms and conditions of this EULA. Upon termination for any reason, you must immediately uninstall the product and destroy all copies of the product in your possession. In other words, if Ubisoft decides that a game is dead, you have to destroy all your copies of said game as part of the license agreement with Ubisoft that you accept when you download, use, or log in on any of their systems. Just thought I'd bring that one up. I thought that was a nice little palate cleanser there, just so that you can hate Ubisoft even more than you already hate Ubisoft, most likely. Okay, we're gonna go into which one should I do for? Okay, this one here. We'll do this one first, and then we'll jump back into a couple of things. Open it in browser and okay. This is a preprint paper, not yet peer-reviewed. However, integrating intersectionality in software engineering. So this paper attempts to make a case for why diversity, equity, and inclusion is important for software engineering because it creates better software and a more inclusive environment that benefits individuals, organizations, and society as a whole. So they go through an intersectional lens for a deeper exploration of the complexities and nuances of intersectionality and how it relates to software engineering. They do an exploratory study with 17 software engineering stakeholders in a country from the global north and a country from the global south. 12 of the participants were developers and 5 were software engineering students. They used a semi-structured interview and analysis of documentation. And so what they conclude as part of their findings is that DEI has to be acknowledged. It needs to be acknowledged in the field of software engineering. While similar themes were present in the two groups, participants interviewed in Brazil experienced more challenges because of socioeconomic status, which was not brought up by the Norwegian participants. So now we have to do we have to now add another intersectionality, which is socioeconomic. So it's more than just DEI. Now you have to add economics. And the intersectionality chain just continues. You can just dissect people up into little tiny atomic pieces of all kinds of intersections. But regardless, the outcome of this study is, hey, you must have DEI because it means more what would you say, wholesome, more wholesome software engineering, whatever, industry. And look, you have sexism, you have transphobia, you have colonialism, you have homophobia, you have ageism, racism, classism, religious discrimination, ableism, you have dis/ability, okay, you have nationality, education, indigeneity, ethnicity. All of these things apparently are all factors that go into the intersectional identities from the UN, and in order to have a good outcome from software engineering as in the industry as a whole, make sure that you are prioritizing people's intersectional attributes. And because they did a like a a survey, you know, they just asked people questions. They asked like 12 people or whatever, 17 people questions. And they're like, yeah, yeah, I think DEI is good. Yeah. Here in Brazil, it's dangerous to be gay, transgender. And so somehow that means that we have to include it in software engineering because it's like somehow extremely relevant. It's a need. They said need. It's a necessity, which means that software engineering cannot operate without it, right? So this is one of the first studies that I'm going to bring up. There's a few that kind of lead into the ideological battleground that the tech industry is being inundated with. I'm sorry to break it to you, but code doesn't care. Your code does not care. Your code does not care about your intersectionality. Your code only cares about a very few fundamental set of things. And if you stick to those things, you'll do well. And if you try and make an ideological claim, you're not going to do very well. That's really what it boils down to. And you can make that case kind of independent on whether you believe in DEI or any of these things. You don't have to. For what I'm talking about here, you don't have to believe in them, or you can be what would you call it? A firm believer in them. The problem is code does not care. The hardware does not care. And when it comes to this industry, this kind of stuff just doesn't belong here. But we're going to get into it, and we're going to read even more about how this kind of ideology is infecting the software engineering space and bending how programs are created, websites are created, video games are created, how code is literally written by humans, or in some cases, AI, because AI has these biases built into it when it generates code. We're going to get into that. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. Asking students for opinions after a year of indoctrination. Honestly, though, making good software that is usable in global contexts, that including DEI individuals, will improve your UX. Do you have to do that? How will it improve UX, Johnny? I'm not sure how it would improve UX. How does what UX would you say points to this benefits a DEI individual? You'd have to give me an example because I can't map that on. I'm not saying there isn't one, but I can't map that on. Okay, then I'll pop these two on because we'll go 1 and 2. And then I have to do one sec. I got to get this right. Do that one. Do that one. Okay, I think I'm ready. Color blindness. Yeah, but that's not DEI, Johnny. Color blindness is good. Don't get me wrong. You definitely want that. But that's not DEI. DEI is more about like uh, stuff that's like systemic. It's systemically it's power. It's all about power and power being used against you. Ability is part of DEI. Yeah, but it points to DEI. I can give you that much, but DEI is all about like how these things are systemically created against you. You've entered into a system where your let's say disability, let's call it that for the sake of a better term, is systemically used against you. And color blindness is not in there, right? They don't really consider it. As a matter of fact, I can prove it to you right now. I'll tell you why I'm saying what I'm saying. All right, so just give me a sec. Let's go back up. Let's go back up. Just give me a sec, Johnny. I'll tell you why. And Johnny, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, like, it's good to have like screen readers, color blindness, accessibility issues. Those are all really important. I 100% agree. I'm not saying these are bad things. I'm just stating it from the ideological viewpoint of DEI. It's a very different thing. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So, here, I'll pull this up. So this is from the UN, and this is how the UN breaks down intersectional identities. Okay? Do you see color blindness anywhere in here? The only place that I see something like that is dis/ability over to the left here, right about here. That's the only place where you could bucket it. But then you have a look at some of the other categories, and they are very broad and very different, right? Ableism, perhaps, yeah, ableism could be in there, right? But this is the problem, is that these kinds of things are nicely broken down. Like, think about religion. Does religion include spiritualism? Right? How about gender and sexuality? Why are those broken down? How about socioeconomic status? Why is that not broken down? Like, this whole thing doesn't make sense, and it's not because it's not a good thing to create stuff that more people can use. 100%, I'm on board with that. That's great. But this path is not what you think it is. This path is a Trojan horse. They take something that's supposed to be good, that has good intentions, and all they're doing is bundling in systemic power oppression mechanisms behind it, and then they're using tech and making you feel bad about it. That's the key difference. Right? If you want to talk about colorblind people, fantastic. Let's build stuff that helps them out. If you want to talk people who have some kind of like inability to use their hands properly, or, things like this, I'm on board for that, man. We need more of that. We really don't tackle that very well. Just genuinely, we don't do a very good job tackling that. But this isn't the way. This is a very different play, right? That's what I'm trying to say, Johnny. Crit theory types plug supporting disabilities anyone would agree with into DEI to get you to buy into the whole thing. Yeah, Vinny typed out what I'm saying. It's a bundling tactic. It's a Trojan horse tactic. You buy into this because it has good aspects of it, which very few people could argue against in a vacuum. But when you look at it as a whole, the intent of this thing is very different than the good intentions that people originally jump into this to. It's very different. Pointing out discrimination doesn't price a solution. Usability looks for the solutions. Price produce. Yeah, it's true. Then there's problems with that too, right? There's a problem with that too, Anyways, this is all to say that there's something, this kind of stuff is not what you think it is, okay? It's not what you think it is. And when it comes to technology, we can absolutely look at people who have, some kind of restriction on their ability to use tech, and we can help them out. We have all the tools we need. We've had it for a long time. We have very little excuse except maybe economic factors. We most certainly don't need an ideological behemoth to kind of give us that impetus. I would highly encourage the impetus without it. I think that would make it even more altruistic rather than, popping in this kind of ideology in it, especially when it comes to a sector where ideology shouldn't factor into it. You should just be doing the thing because it operates well and it's accessible to a lot of people and it's secure and all of that stuff, right? Anyway, we'll get into it more though, Johnny. We will get into it more, and I'll cover even more, and we'll dig into it a bit more. And hopefully it kind of presents itself a bit more clearly than I'm explaining it as we go over it more. Okay, next. I've got the next two lined up. I forgot if I did. Yeah, here we go. All right, we're going to go into a little bit of an article, and then we're going to dig into, it's kind of like an opinion article, and we'll just briefly go over it, and then I'll jump to the next one. Engineered Addictions: How Silicon Valley is Putting a Price Tag on Your Attention and Relationships. So this author, let's see, Mason, attempted to create a social media platform and realized that social media is a losing game for a number of factors. So he starts off by saying, there's a whole bunch of reasons, well, not a whole bunch, there's actually a very few set of reasons that make a social media platform a failure from the get-go. We don't all have ADHD, we have an addiction. Growing up, I barely knew a world without social media, and neither did my friends. We were the guinea pigs for Silicon Valley's great dopamine experiment, and now we're waking up with the side effects. So he tried to create this thing called Circlic. And what happened was he started off with a very well-intentioned thing. Just connect people offline. That's it. Don't add any fancy algorithms. Don't add, thumbs up, thumbs down. Keep it very simple and just help people to connect offline. That's it. Genuine connections. And then what happens? Well, just like other social media platforms, so he points to a few examples. Look at Be Real, which promised authentic sharing through simultaneous unfiltered photos. For a brief moment, it felt different. No algorithms, no endless scrolling, just genuine moments shared with friends. Then it raised venture capital, hit scale, and needed to hit growth numbers and meet quarterly metric goals. The focus shifted from authenticity to daily active users. It sold for 500 mil, and the cycle began again. Instagram is the same. It started out with just photo sharing. Facebook acquired it for a cool chump change sum of $1 billion. And now it's just an algorithm platform. And it continues over and over and over again. So the progression, he outlines it as this. Pure intentions. Founders like myself genuinely want to connect people, share authentic moments, and build community. The early versions feel magical because they follow this original mission. Then there's a growth imperative. You get VC funding, and then you have to start doing this exponential growth to make your investors and shareholders, stakeholders happy. Then you have algorithm optimization or engagement optimization. Now you have to play the algorithm game. How are we going to hit the dopamine stuff? And then you do complete misalignment, which is you completely lose your way from your initial starting point. And this is how a lot of these what would you say, social media platforms end up in. I think we've seen it time and time again. At the end, who wins? The investors. The investors win because one way or another, you're going to pay for it. Whether you become addicted to the thing or whether you lightly use it or whether you don't use it at all, it doesn't matter. The investors win. And this is one of the problems with venture capitalist stuff in tech. And I think it would be better. I think at this point, I'm willing to say that it's better if you bootstrap your company and stop accepting VC money. Or you have some very, very, very tight contracts that says, I'll accept your VC money, but you don't get to tell me what to do. And if we take the power away from VCs because they're ruining everything, they will realize that we're not willing to play that game anymore. That is a very tall order for me to ask. Do I think it's even a reason, could I see it happening? I mean, maybe, but not realistically. People aren't going to do that. People go for money, right? And so at that point, what happens is if you know that this is going to happen, then now I can't just place the blame on VC funding anymore, can I? Because if you know that you're going to have a VC funder or you're aiming for that angle, then you're also participating in that, whether you're a VC funder or not. So now I can start blaming the people who create these systems because they know ahead that, hey, if a VC funder comes along, they're going to make me fall into this trap, into this growth trap. And I'm okay with that as long as I get my money and I exit. And thus the tech industry. And thus here we are in the tech industry. So he describes, kind of like some of these other solutions and whatnot, right? But that's how the tech industry is oriented. It's oriented toward the growth and therefore the algorithm because of your dopamines, because of growth. And so now we're going to look at this scientific study very briefly, how human AI feedback loops alter human perceptual, emotional, and social judgments. And we can pretty much just read the abstract. I might bring out one or two points. Despite their numerous advantages, AI systems can exhibit biased judgments in domains ranging from perception to emotion. Here, in a series of experiments, 1,401 participants, we reveal a feedback loop where human AI interactions alter processes underlying human perceptual, emotional, and social judgments, subsequently amplifying biases in humans. This amplification is significantly greater than that observed in interactions between humans, due to both the tendency of AI systems to amplify biases and the way humans perceive AI systems. Participants are often unaware of the extent of the AI's influence, rendering them more susceptible to it. These findings uncover a mechanism wherein AI systems amplify biases, which are further internalized by humans, triggering a snowball effect where small errors in judgment escalate into much bigger ones. In other words, because of the sycophancy of these AI systems, they are yes men who want to make you feel good and get good user feedback from you. They're going to tell you essentially whatever they can to get that good feedback. What happens is that your own biases as you use the AI then just increase. You just become more structured, more based in your own biases. So you can see some of the feedback loops here. The human to AI interaction changes the direction of like your emotional levels as compared to humans, your aggression levels as compared to humans, whether or not you have a certain belief system as compared to humans. And when I say as compared to humans, I mean like when you're talking to another fellow human as opposed to talking to the AI, and you don't even know that it's happening. That's the thing. You have no idea that this is happening to you. You're just becoming more and more biased against within the biases that you already had. And the AI is making you go, yes, more, believe this more, do more of this. Here's some nice Greek math just to make it. Here's what the bias, okay? Some math to prove the bias is true. Some nice Greek letters here, all right? It happens. Something minus 0.5, some, I don't know, whatever. Okay. So the math proves it. We have math proof. All right. And so this is one of the dangers of using AI systems. And it's based on the same kinds of things that you get out of very, very similar. There's like a link to the social media stuff, which is what we talked about here. There's a dopamine hit when the AI tells you that you're right, and it makes you happy. And so it makes you more likely to accept that, yes, I am very smart. Of course, my thoughts on this are true, because if this LLM system is telling me that it's true, it must be true. And then just to make matters worse, if I believe that the LLM system is a reasoning model that can think and can think faster and better than me, and it's telling me I'm right, huh, yeah, then I must be right. I must be. Yeah, everything must I must be the smartest person in the world, and all the stuff I believe in is 100% right because the AI says I'm right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, whoever just did the follow there just now, I appreciate it. Thank you. Right here. I don't catch them all the time, but I appreciate that. Okay, so next, I'm gonna pop up these next three, and this will lead us to the end of the stream. But we're gonna read a full-on article, and then we're gonna have a little bit of fun. We are gonna have a little bit of fun. Let me turn on reader mode. Okay, so in line with the psychological effects of using these LLM systems, you may be surprised to note that these psychological effects have been studied since the 50s and 60s. And we're going to go into one of these studies as per the title of the stream. Laughfully, shut up. You didn't know this in advance. I don't believe you. Shut up. You didn't know it in advance, all right? Okay? You suck. All right. Yeah, Laughly's going to get a you suck twice today. He gets a preemptive you suck. Joseph Weizenbaum. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. Professor Emeritus of Computer Science, 85. This is from MIT. This is an article from, I believe, 2008. And I believe this was when he passed away. And they did an article kind of celebrating his life. Joseph, a professor, I'm not even going to say the last name, a professor emeritus. Damn it, man. I'm a high school dropout, okay? All right? Stay in school. Otherwise, you can't pronounce these fancy words that probably the Brits can pronounce. Like, what the hell is forget it. I'm not even going to get into it. A professor, whatever, of computer science at MIT who grew skeptical of artificial intelligence in the 60s, by the way, after creating a program that made many users feel like they were speaking with an empathic psychologist, died March 5th in Berlin. He was 85. Damn it, they had to use his last name. He was Jewish. He fled a word I can't say, Germany, with his parents, and arrived in the United States in the mid 1930s. At the beginning of his career with computers in the early 1950s, he worked on analog computers. Later, he helped design and build a digital computer at Wayne University in Detroit. In 1955, he became a member of the General Electric team that designed and built the first computer system dedicated to banking operations. Among his early technical contributions were the List Processing System, SLIP, and the Natural Language Understanding Program, ELIZA. So we're talking 1955. He had Chat Gupta. The difference was there were no Indians behind ELIZA. That's the difference. Indians or Philippine people. That's the difference between Chat Gupta and ELIZA, which was an important development in artificial intelligence and cemented his role in the folklore of computer science research. Named for the heroine of My Fair Lady, ELIZA was perhaps the first instance of what is known as a chatterbot program. Specifically, the ELIZA program simulated a conversation between a patient and a psychotherapist by using a person's responses to shape the computer's replies. He was shocked to discover that many users were taking his program seriously and were opening their hearts to it. They were actually telling the chatbot stuff that they wouldn't tell another human being, not even one. Not their spouse, not their kid, not their parent, nobody. They were spilling secrets that they were taking to the grave with them. And so he became a critic of artificial intelligence because he saw the issues that would arise from that. In 1976, he authored Computer Power and Human Reason from Judgment to Calculation, in which he displayed ambivalence toward computer technology and warned against giving machines the responsibility for making genuinely human choices. Oh, you mean like where was it? Crap, where is it? Where is it? Like designing AI, designing drugs, like that one? Or how about who to hire and fire? Yeah. Or like those kinds of decisions. Are those the kinds of decisions you're talking about? Specifically, he argued that it's not just wrong, but dangerous, and in some cases immoral, to assume that computers would be able to do anything given enough processing power and clever programming. No other organism, and certainly no computer, can be made to confront genuine human problems in human terms, he wrote. Computer Power and Human Reason raised questions about the role of AI and spurred debate about the role of computer systems in decision-making for many years. Later on, he developed deep resentment. By 1980s, he was railing against the concept of computer illiteracy, saying it was a form of mass hysteria drummed up by computer manufacturers as a way to sell more product. The real focus, he said, should not be on computer literacy, but literacy itself. In a 1985 interview with New Age Journal, he proudly described himself as a heretic of technology. He is among friends. His spirit continues in this very stream, and I kid you not. The dependence on computers is merely the most recent and the most extreme, an example of how man relies on technology in order to escape the burden of acting as an independent agent. It helps him avoid the task of giving meaning to his life, of deciding and pursuing what is truly valuable. And not just that, but in this day and age, with the tech industry, AI is an escape from all the stupid decisions that the tech industry has made that they cannot escape from. They can't escape now from the absolute destruction of the entire industry, and they are praying to the AI gods that AI will salvage all their stupid decisions and make it worth something. So even down at a macro level or at a lower level than what he's talking about, although I completely agree with him as well, that these AI systems are just another tool to give people meaning that they've lost along the way. He joined MIT in 1963. He had a whole bunch of awards. He's been cited a lot, etc., etc., etc. All right, now, as it so happens, there was an issue. Some of his work got lost or burnt down or something like that. It was lost to the annals of time along the way. And so his chatbot Eliza just kind of fell to the wayside, and nobody used it. Now somebody did try to recreate it. And you know what's fun about this recreation? It's better than Chat Gupta. It's better than Chat Gupta. Shall we play around with it? This guy wrote it in pure JavaScript on the browser. Let's have some fun, shall we? Let's have some fun. So I'm gonna pop this open. Okay? Shut up, Laugh. Okay? Shut up. I don't even know how to pronounce your name, and I don't care. Okay? Because I just don't care, Laugh. How do you like that? Laugh. Okay. Here we go. This is created using a JavaScript, just JavaScript running on the browser. You can see that he even went and did a history of chatbots, a timeline. There's ELIZA, the Turing test in 1950, ELIZA in 66, and then a few more. And yes, we will be getting into a few of these, or at the very least, I'm going to be investigating them to see if they're worthy of bringing up. I think a few of them are worthy of bringing up, but here you go. We have these chatbots. And so here is his, as faithful as he could get, recreation of ELIZA. All right. And so here it is. Let me zoom in nice and tight. Hello, I'm ELIZA. I'll be your therapist today. And you just start asking a question. So let's see how this compares to Chat Gupta. All right. So I have someone in my chat who is constantly berating me for not being able to pronounce certain names. It makes me feel bad. Have you asked anyone else? No. Everyone else seems to agree with him. Why not? Well, because everyone else seems to agree with him. Would you say that you have psychological problems? Yes. I see. Let's explore that a bit more. Okay. Okay. No. Oh, it's repeating what I said. No, everyone else seems to agree with him. Tell me more. Well, everyone agrees that I suck at pronouncing names. It makes me feel like a jabroni. I think you're blocking what you really want to say. Actually, I kind of am. Yeah, yeah. I didn't finish high school, so now I feel extra stupid. Do you often feel extra stupid? Oh no, boys. Oh no. Oh no. Yes. I understand. Oh no. I am actually kind of it's it's hitting a chord, like this is way better than Chat Gupta. Okay, and then if I just wait, like what? So now what? What do you think? Maybe I should take steps to uh make myself feel smarter. You don't seem quite certain. Am I correct? Oof. Oof. Correct. Okay, maybe you should take steps to make yourself feel smarter. Tell me more. This is actually pretty good. Uh, well, maybe I should finish high school. What's up, Gene? Yeah, I can't make sandwiches. Why the uncertain tone? Holy crap. Um, I am scared I can't finish high school. This all started with pronunciations of names. How do you know you can't finish high school? Bros. Bros. This is not bad. How do you know you can't finish high school? Um, I don't know. I suppose I'm just second guessing myself. You guys see you guys seeing yeah, you're too old to fist fight in high school, yeah. Do you really know? You suppose you're just second guessing yourself? I am second guessing myself. This is written in JavaScript for the browser. How long have you been second guessing yourself? As long as I can remember. I'm not sure I understand you fully. I have been second guessing myself forever. I see. Let's try another topic. We will come back to that issue later. Okay, depending on where this goes, I'll put an end to it. But we'll see. This was pretty good, honestly. Sometimes if you wait long enough, it'll do like it'll refresh. This is getting deeply uncomfortable for the viewers. It's probably better than chatbot. Yeah. So if I ask, I'm gonna run this and or finish this. Okay, this isn't gonna do anything now. It does it after like 15 seconds. It's been past that. So what happened was somebody actually grabbed the original code for um for the system, and they recreated it and hosted it in its original format, not in this faithful attempted format, because this person created it um, in a faithful attempt when the code was lost. But I believe MIT researchers found it and recreated it, and so here we go. This is hosted on Google, and this is ELIZA, and so we can actually go ahead and use it here. ELIZA archaeology. How do you do? Please tell me your problem. All right. Um, People are making fun of me for not pronouncing names correctly. I feel stupid. Do you think they might not be making fun of you for not pronouncing names correctly? Oh, did you ever think they might not be making fun of you for not pronouncing names correctly? That's deep. Maybe you guys are just making fun of me because I'm legitimately an idiot. And maybe the pronunciation thing is just a way for you guys to point out my idiocy. But what you're really doing is making fun of me for being an idiot, not because I can't pronounce. That's deep. We're two questions in. That's deep. That's so deep. All right. I did not. Now I am wondering if they are making fun of me for actually being stupid. You say you did not. Uh huh. I say I did not. Yes, I did. Can you elaborate? I am now certain they are making fun of me for being legitimately stupid. Is it because you are now certain they are making fun of you for being legitimately stupid that you came to me? Yes. You seem quite positive. I am. How long have you been? Ever since I started talking to you. Perhaps in your fantasy, we started talking to each other. Bro, what the hell? What fantasy? Why do you ask? Am I in a fantasy? Do you believe you're in a fantasy? Yes. You are sure? Yes, I see. So do I. Do you say so to you for some special reason? No. Are you saying no just to be negative? Yes. I understand. Me too. I'm not sure I understand you fully, but I do. That's quite interesting. It is. Please go on. I will, as long as you agree that this is interesting. Do you wish to will as long as me? Yes. You seem quite positive. I am. Okay, so this one kind of went off the rails really quickly, but you can see how it started off really strong. It started off super strong. It was really good. And so now, just for comparison, we're going to go over to Chat Gupta, okay? And we're going to see what the Indian on the other side is going to tell me, all right? We're going to see what the Indian on the other side is going to tell me. They're going to try and basically be as good as ELIZA. We'll figure it out. Okay, I have to open up this one. Give me a sec, folks. Give me a sec. So if I go chat, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then I have this. Okay. And so what we're going to do in order to get this thing to kind of operate in the same way and run a comparison, we're going to give it a prompt, right? And we're going to say, I would like you to pretend you are the therapy chatbot ELIZA, as built by, and we're going to get this guy's name. We're going to try and be as faithful as a recreation as we can possibly get Chat Gupta to be, as built by in the 1960s. Okay, let's see what it says. Let's see if it even, I haven't done this before. I don't even know if it's going to engage with the entire premise. Let's go. Of course, I will now respond in the style of ELIZA. All right. The ELIZA was designed to reflect what a user said back to them, often turning statements into open-ended questions. Okay. Hi, I am ELIZA. Please tell me what is on your mind today. My viewers on stream are making fun of me for not pronouncing names correctly. It make me feel bad, dumb caveman. I'm sorry to hear you feel that way. Why do you say your viewers make you feel like a bad, dumb caveman? Because I can't properly pronounce names. Why do you think not being able to pronounce names properly means you're a dumb caveman? And it's already done. It's already gone. Because now we're stuck in circular land. It doesn't. We've lost because the viewers are making fun of me. Do you often feel upset when others make fun of you? Okay, all right, now we're getting somewhere. Yes. I'm sorry that you feel this way. Can you tell me more about how it affects you when others make fun of you? What the? It just said, okay. It makes me, okay, let's lead it a little bit. Let's just give it a little bit of a lead and see if we can help it along. And if we can't, then we're gonna jump out of this one because it's not doing a good job. It confirms my own negative beliefs about myself, that because I didn't finish high school, I'm no better than a caveman who drew pictures on rock walls. Why do you believe that not finishing high school means you're no better than a caveman? Because high school means you a smart poison. Do you feel that only people who finish high school can be smart? Yes. What makes you feel that way? Oh my goodness. They have more education. This is not doing a good job, guys. I gotta admit. Do you believe that education is the only measure of a person's intelligence or worth? Sure, let's go with it. Yes. What leads you to believe that your worth is only tied to education? Because poor people be dumb like me dumb and no high school. Therefore, high school, therefore, education equals smart and money. Why do you associate being poor or not finishing high school? Yeah, okay, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. It's like eh, because of educate. Like if even if I keep it short, right? Is it possible there are other ways to be intelligent besides formal education? Yes. Oh, and then we have this. It's not very good. It's you can tell that it's very different from the ELIZA system. And yet, if we go back to the ELIZA system here, what you'll notice here is well, even in this one, for example, but even we can even just go down here and we can go um, lack of education makes me feel dumb. What does that suggest to you? I need more education. See how easy it's way easier to answer the questions on this thing. What would it mean to you if you got more education, more confidence, or something like that? Do you feel strongly? Yes. You are sure? Absolutely. I'm not sure. But even when it fails, there's a bug, by the way, in this code. They discovered a bug. This is way easier to do a back and forth on than than Chat Gupta, right? It was really difficult for me to come up with an answer. This wasn't very good at replicating it. So you can already see how these kinds of LLM systems have the more power, the more data, the more ability you give them, the more they go off the rails. And some of these older systems, which were far more constrained and let's say restricted in terms of inputs and outputs, did a way better job engaging with you in these kinds of instances. That's the kind of thing that we need to be going back to. Very, very small, closed box, closed system, structured, very limited, what would you say? Finite sets of rules that accomplish a very specific goal and that are proven to accomplish that goal. These are the even this is better than Chat Gupta. It's way better. I didn't even know how to answer some of the questions here. It's not even it can't even resemble it correctly, right? Anyway, I thought it would be a fun way to end the stream and just kind of show you the difference between some of some of the historical things that were done with these chatbots and where we're at now. The difference to me is very different. The difference to me is very different. It's almost night and day. It's almost night and day. It's incredible how a robot, a chatbot from the 1960s, tends to have a better back and forth, or at least encourage a better back and forth than ChatGupta does today, or any of these other systems that exist right now, like Grok and whatever. And there's a very good reason for that, because we go over it all the time on these daily tech news streams. They're just not built very well. These things are not built very well. They're built with, it was a very ship it bro mentality to ship out these LLMs. And as a result, you're not going to get very good feedback. And then when you tie that into all of the pseudo addictive tendencies and people using them for, crutches and leaning on them for things they're hoping it will save them from stuff that the problems they themselves caused, well, you can see where it leads. So there you go. There you go. Gene, the caveman drawing pictures in the caves were probably smarter than average humans. They were thinking abstract before abstractions were a thing. Yeah, Gene. What's up, D-Diver? Good to see you. Might want to circle back to your comments. Yeah, I'm calling it Chat Gupta because behind Chat Gupta, it's just Indians and Filipinos. And I mean, it's actually true because we've pointed to articles where that's actually been true. Entire AI companies were just Indians and Filipinos answering questions. Yeah, outsourcing for cheap labor. Yeah, that's Chat Gupta. So we're calling it Chat Geppetto and Chat Gupta. That's it. So there you go. There you go. That's the stream for today. If you guys want to bring up anything, you want to ask some questions before I call it, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, I hope it was informative. I hope it was a little bit of fun. I had a little bit of fun. It was crazy to try it, Eliza. Anybody? Last call. You don't have to stay here, but well, no, you don't have to go home. That's the saying, but you can't stay here. I'm gonna end it in a few minutes. Tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow I'll be back again for more daily tech news. I have so much news to cover. I'm gonna have to keep going. Same with Friday. I guess I'll have to save video game stuff for the weekend. Um, yeah. Thanks everybody for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you for the sub today, Frozen. And if anybody wants to send in tips, you can just type in exclamation mark tip in chat, and you can tip. You can do the subs. You can do the super chats. All of that stuff. The financial support helps greatly, more than you can imagine. But at the very least, if you just hit the like and subscribe and all of that, that's free. And if the information that I'm presenting here is valuable to you, then it's certainly valuable to other people. So help me get in front of other people and persuade consumers to vote with their dollars, and programmers to do better, and managers and executives to get their heads out of their own asses. And let's fix the tech industry. There's a whole bunch of money to be made and a whole bunch of problems we can solve. And we don't have to do it this way, the way we're doing it now. So help me out with that. Amagod says, is there a threshold where AI being trained on data gets dumber, or is it all just bad foundations? Yeah, we've gone over that. You probably weren't around for it, but for example, when you have AI generating articles, that's just one example, or generating scientific papers, that's another example, or generating websites, that's another example, or generating social media posts with AI bots, that's another example. And what happens is that all that AI slop, the bad citations, kind of like we went over on this stream, where a machine learning book did not have proper citations because it was a machine learning generated machine learning book. So it just eats up its own slop. And so it dog foods itself, and it becomes increasingly worse. So the more slop it eats up, the more it's going to just make itself worse. And we've even, I believe it was 2 episodes ago, we talked about distillation, where you have one AI model talk to another instance of itself and send data to itself. And it just passes more slop in. That's it. So all of this stuff is just going to collectively continue to degrade. It just makes itself worse. I have the best insight ever, but don't want to be ashamed of wallet text again. Yeah, TMX. Yeah, sure, TMX. Whatever you say, TMX. What can you use AI for effectively? There's a few very limited use cases, and they have nothing to do with the typical stuff that you and I would consider consumer use cases, like nothing. Because so even if you, now I see Ghost, I would disagree even for search, because what happens is you have to confirm that the search results are accurate, which means you are now essentially one step removed from doing a search yourself. At this point, what you have two, yeah, you have at least 2 issues. When you do a search with AI, it's going to provide you with bad references, for one, which means you have to go check the references of the websites that it searched, or whatever it gave you. So now you're doing the work of having to do the search yourself anyways. And second of all, you don't know if it distilled the information correctly. So even if it did get the right sources, how do you know that it got the right, compression of information? Which means, again, now you're just having to do the search yourself anyway. So I don't even see it as that. The limited use cases where we've seen it positive, where it's been used correctly, for example, breast cancer detection rates. when there were doctors that used it. Their initial breast cancer detection rates when looking at X-rays were something like 75%. Then they added LLMs and trained them on X-rays that had either did or did not have breast cancer, whatever, in something that you could spot as breast cancer in the X-rays. When they added that into their, I guess, into the corpus of things that they considered when they were making determinations on whether someone had breast cancer, their detection success rates went up into the 90+% range. Hey, that's great. But you know how they got there? They first had to assume that the LLM lied about everything, hallucinated everything. So they had first just assumed that everything that the LLM gave them was wrong and double check it. And then they had to have a third party of doctors confirm that the first party of doctors were getting their detection rates correct with the LLMs, which means that you had two people, you had two layers of doctors confirming the LLM output. Still a positive use case, because if you can go from 70% to 90% in terms of breast cancer detection, that's fantastic. But look at the amount of effort that's required to do that, right? And so all of these things, these are very they're very extreme edge cases beyond just the consumer cases of, but it's a great search. It's a shortcut to bouncing off problems, things like that. It limits your creative problems simply by asking the question of the AI. Just for regular people like you and I, it does way more harm than good. Whoever just gave me the follow on the Twitch side, I appreciate it. Calculated with fancy UI, yeah. It is the Ouroboros of dumbness. Yeah. There was some glitch in some sort of cancer detection by machine learning. They found a bias for images with rulers in them. I didn't see that, Johnny. I should look that up. Yeah. Definitely should remove the ruler from the breast first. Yeah. If you're walking around with a ruler in your breast, there's no LLM that will help you. Is there a way to filter out AI materials from a search, like in Google, like adding dash AI that actually work? Yes. There is a way. If you want to use DuckDuckGo, they have an option to remove it. If you use Google for something like here, let me try this. If I do that, and then I believe it's like UDM equals 14. Yeah. So here, let me switch. So this is, I just Googled Ouroboros, right? And this is before. Okay, so there's the AI overview, and then this is after. So what you do is you take the URL up here. I know it looks small on your screen, I apologize. But whatever the URL is, you go to the very end of it, and you type in this, UDM equals 14. And if you type that in, then you get a page like what I have. There's no AI output. Okay. Yeah, DuckDuckGo, yeah. The main point it's good in search is because you don't have to get results immediately. Think of it as a longer process. It's not perfect. You need to confirm, but it will allow you to find cases you won't find at all with keywords. Possibly. I would still argue for the energy usage. I don't think, see, that argument means that you're never going to find information unless you use AI. That's kind of the implication of a statement like that. I can agree that it makes it very, very, I can agree that in some cases it makes it a lot easier. I can agree with that. But what's the cost to that? Do you really want to be running a day's worth of household energy for 2.5 people in a house so that you can do like a shortcut on information? Are you really saving that much energy by doing that shortcut? And I don't think that the fact that you're going to find stuff that you normally wouldn't find means that you'll never find it. It just means that the amount of work required to get there is just more manual effort. So just like we have the ability to do manual effort at energy costs that are next to nothing. I just don't see how you can make a good argument, or at the very least, even a moral argument. Honestly, I don't see how you can make a moral argument where it's like, well, I'm going to get better search results, so F all of you. F all your energy bills, F my energy bills. I don't care about the societal consequences. I'm going to do whatever I want to do and use this thing because I care about a 20-second shortcut instead of actually putting in a bit more effort into finding the things that I normally wouldn't find. Gene. So it's good only if you have large amounts of data to make decisions. No, Gene. The more amounts that's actually wrong. The more amounts of data you give it, the worse it gets. Yeah, the most unhinged it gets. Imagine using AI for propaganda. They are using it for propaganda. It's already done. We've already covered it. There's entire Russian farms, Chinese farms. America's doing this. Israel does this. There's AI bot farms. 51% of the internet in 2024 was all what would you call it? It was all bot traffic, and a huge portion of that um, was AI bots. Yeah. Imagine using a computer every day and waste so much energy when you can do everything without a computer. Ghost, don't straw man the argument, Ghost. Don't strawman it. Hey, what's up, Avocado? Thanks for the raid, man. You know that the energy consumption inside of a computer is nowhere near the energy consumption of AI systems. The energy consumption of computers when you're doing searches do not require nuclear energy centers and 20% price increases throughout the entire United States in order to run them. That's a straw man argument. You know better than to do that, Ghost. Come on, man. What's up, Avocado? Good to see you. Deagle, how you doing? You're a bot too. Makes sense. A bot would absolutely say that. What's up, Hitoki? Hey, I saved 0.001 seconds for an incorrect summary. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Mumja, AI energy consumption is kind of overblown. All industry that get... No, it's not overblown. No, Mom, it's not overblown. Listen, I appreciate the raid. You guys are awesome. Thanks for coming in. It's not overblown at all. This has been proven. It's been scientifically proven, and it's been statistically proven. PJM, one of the biggest energy providers in the United States. Yesterday, we covered an article on that. Yesterday, said that the energy grid cannot handle even the current state of AI energy usage. We went over how NVIDIA is building NVIDIA GPUs that are at 700 watt powers strictly for AI usage, and they're selling millions upon millions of that as of 2024, I believe. When you put millions and millions of those with 700 watt usage per GPU, you can absolutely do the numbers on that, and it rivals that of small nations and countries in Europe. These are hard numbers. There's no hiding around them. There's nothing that is kind of mystical about those numbers. They're very real numbers. Again, thanks for the raid. Avocado, how are you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. Sometimes you got to raid and run. I appreciate that. So if you got to raid and run, you got to raid and run, man. But can we get a shout out? Did anybody do a shout out for Avo? Can I ask one of the mods to do a shout out, please? That would be, if you would be so kind as to assist me with that, one of the mods. Yeah. I'm good. I'm doing well. I'm talking about AI. Talking about AI here and just trash talking AI. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you, whoever did that. Whoever did that shout out. I appreciate it. Yeah, welcome in, Raiders. You're catching me kind of at the end. I'm just fielding questions. But I do the Daily Tech News. And this is episode 88. And we went over a chatbot that was built in the 60s that does better than ChatGupta does today. Yeah. And IT is trying to build nukes to power their stuff. Yeah, Western govs are shutting them down for civvies. Who's using more? I mean, yeah. Dead internet theory. Dead internet theory is true. Like I said, Cloudflare, the biggest internet traffic provider in the world, did actual hard numbers on the amount of traffic that the entirety of the internet received in 2024. So Hitoki, in 2024, 51% of the internet was bots. Yeah. And 40, I think, percent of that was AI bots. Maybe it was 30%. So it's becoming true. Or if you want to count more than half as true, then it's already true. Yeah, there you go. There's the Discord. Yeah. Yeah, sorry guys, you guys caught me at the end there. If you guys want to see the entire corpus of my work, just type in, I believe it's ! YouTube will work. And I have a live tab and a playlist, Enlightened Programming Playlist. And if you go there, all my lives and individual episodes and shorts on all of these topics are all there. If you want to find out about power usage, I have 1.5 years worth of work on all of these topics: programming, AI, impacts on society, how the tech industry kind of ruined itself, and all the different ways and all that. And you just it's all there. It's all free. If you want to get it in a searchable format so that you can search for things like cybersecurity issues in healthcare, power consumption in AI, etc., things like that. What you can do is you can go to enlightenedprogramming.com, and I categorize and tag all of my videos and all of my articles and all of my links and references and everything. And I'm going to be putting exclusive content up here. And you just send in a tip of $10 or more, or you do like a sub, or all that kind of stuff, and you'll get access to it. And you'll get access to a system that's very similar to what I have here, where you can filter by topic and you can go back through all of it. And so here, this is my administrative interface here, but you can go to the episode today and you can see all the stuff that I covered and links to it and what information, my personal notes, all of it. It's all there if you want to do that. So this is not me just kind of like ranting at clouds on these episodes. This is 1.5 years worth of work, gathering the data, gathering these statistics, gathering the scientific studies, gathering the surveys, gathering the opinion articles, doing stuff on stream like actually trying to break AI in a variety of different ways, using old school AIs from the 60s, which you can just pop open a browser. You can run this guy right now. Here's a chatbot from the 60s that outcompetes ChatGupta. Like, this is all stuff that I do. Programming stuff. Is TypeScript better than JavaScript? Does it actually give you any benefits over JavaScript? I've gone over that. All that stuff is up there. So for the raiders who are coming in, in case you're interested in stuff like that, that's what I do around here. Okay, I think that's it. I think I'm going to call it. We probably lost steam here. So that's it. I'm going to call the stream here. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for the raid. I'm sorry, raiders. You guys came in right at the end. So unless somebody pops in a last minute question, I'm going to be out of here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Worst case scenario. If people want to hop on VC, I'll keep an eye out on voice chat on Discord. And if somebody says they want to go on there, I'll go on there for a little bit. I asked once Claude to detect if it talks to a human or a bot. I thought ELIZA was a human. Yeah, thanks, 10x. Can I have some career advice? Sure, Avocado. Yeah, go for it. We'll let Avocado have the last word because Avocado did the raid, and I feel bad ending the stream so quickly. Johnny, how come I don't rate other people? Because Twitch is full of scumbag degenerates who show their cleavage and basically, do whatever self-pleasuring scumbag behavior that is detrimental and disgusting to society that they want. So I don't want to raid people on Twitch because I pretty much do not like any of them except for save a few, and they're never on when I'm on. And on YouTube, there's very few people who I can raid who are on at the same time as I am. So there you go. That's the answer. What's your favorite way of getting in touch with recruiters? Probably X. You can find lots of recruiters on X. You can find recruiters on LinkedIn too. It feels kind of cheesy to do it, but it's probably a good way to do it as well. You can find probably more of them on LinkedIn than X. And oh no, is Avocado getting hit by ads? Now we have to wait by ads. Now we have to wait by the ads. Yeah, no Theo. I'm not, no. Um yeah. Yeah. Theo slighted me? No, Theo didn't slight me in the no. I have no real issues with Theo on a personal level. I'm sure, if I hung out with him, we'd probably make a few jokes and have a good time and it'd be great. but I disagree with what he proclaims as is good for the industry. And he has been, well, actually, he has been since before AI. He's been saying I wouldn't say he is stupid. I would say that his takes on what the tech industry should be doing and what you as a programmer should be doing are stupid. I think they're causing you harm. I think his prescriptions to his programmers, and this goes with many other influencers and streamers online, whether they're streaming or not, they are bad prescriptions. They are necessarily causing you to not be a good programmer. And I realize that he thinks that they're making you a good programmer, but I fundamentally disagree with me. And so I will not send you there. I cannot in good conscience send you to someone who gives you those kinds of prescriptions. I want to see the tech industry get better, not worse. So, if I mean it, then why would I send you to someone who I think is making probably some of the most terrible prescriptions you can make to programmers who are watching you? Thanks, 10x, for the follow. I appreciate it. But him as a person, it's fine. Like, I don't know. I barely know the guy. How can I make a judgment on him as a person? I hear you guys talking about Sve. I'm not going to say anything about Sve. I 100% agree. He seems like a cool guy. 100% agree that he does cool stuff. 100% agree. If you guys want to go to Sve after, that's up to you. I'm just not going to talk about it. That's all. I'm not going to talk about Sve. I use AI all the time, but I'm already a good programmer. But right, still dangerous. I feel like I'm getting lazy and dumber. Yeah, we've gone over. I don't know how many studies. It's been at least 5 or 6 that shows that AIs generate insecure code, and they make you forget like programming paradigms because it's just much quicker to hit enter and just accept whatever they auto generate. They cause more problems than they solve, especially in the long run. The long run, right? Not short term, not medium term. It's the long run. Usually the amount of issues that are discovered when you're auto-generating code with LLMs and vibe coding and stuff, you don't realize it until you're like a year into a project and then they pop up. It causes all kinds of problems. And we went over a study, I believe yesterday, that shows that people offload the amount of time they spend generating code and just move it into amount of time spent checking code, which means you're not getting anything. You're spending almost the same amount of time. And that study that we went over actually showed it was making you slower overall as an objective productive output metric. It was making you slower. Right. And so like all this stuff is not good. And then on top of that, it does cause mental atrophy. There are EEGs done on brain scans or like on your brain while you're using LLMs for all kinds of things, including coding. And yes, you at the very least for a short term, weeks to a few months, you forget how to do things that you normally would remember. And we've done this on lateral studies, GPS, people forget how to navigate by themselves, spell checkers, people forget or they lose their ability to do proper spell checking, textile manufacturing, people forget how to actually make clothes by hand without a machine, so on and so forth. We've done this all the time. So yeah, 10x, this stuff is bad for you. I cannot recommend it to you. Stay away from it. It doesn't save you anything. And the amount of energy it costs anyways, even if it does save you something, is not worth the squeeze. It's not worth it. Thanks, Avocado. And I see you on Discord. Feel free to ask questions on Discord too. If you want to ask questions about, career advice, man, no problem. We'll help you out. It'll only degenerate if OP is your religion. Yeah. Okay, folks, that's it. Mental atrophy thing is not a big issue, just like other technologies you mentioned. The energy consumption is my sticking point. The mental atrophy is not proven to be long-term, but it is proven to be short-term. And the problem is because it's not proven to be long-term, it means that it could be long-term. And what you have to consider is that even in a short-term loss of mental atrophy, you can end up in a long-term, even if the data doesn't prove it. You can end up in a long-term situation because you continually go through that short-term. So I would argue that even if it's short-term mental atrophy, that consistent short-term mental atrophy leads to long-term mental atrophy if you're consistent with it. So again, energy plus mental atrophy and the fact that it has like sycophantic behaviors and it causes all these other problems. Yeah, in a few years we'll have AGI. Yeah. Yeah, the short. So what is long-term mental atrophy? It's short-term mental atrophy on repeat. So you can generate your own long-term mental atrophy simply by continually using something that creates short-term mental atrophy. You can just generate it in yourself. So I would still argue it's a big issue. Because then what happens down the road when the people who used to know how to program now need to go program a thing in these AI systems, right? It's TikTok for programmers. Yeah. Stop. Just stop doing it. Seriously, stop it. You don't need it. You really don't need it. In a wide array of reasons why you do not need it. You're just giving yourself and everyone around you the middle finger. That's all you're doing. That's it. For what? For Studio Ghibli? For Bigfoot walks in the park? For barely junior level code? Really? Is this worth it? Is it worth your brain? Is it worth the cost? Then why should we use search engines rather than just parsing documentation ourselves? Because there are studies that have shown that when, for example, even the EEG scan, there was one done by, I believe, Anthropic, and the EEG scan on using search engines for doing research shows that when you're doing a like a web search, images and stuff pop up and you are forced to distill information yourself. There are different parts of your brain that are activated versus going to a library and reading a book. Yes, but it's still a net positive because you're getting a different kind of feedback and your brain is capable of processing that feedback very well. Your memory retention is really good. Your ability to practice information distillation is very good. It's even better when you take information out of your search and you handwrite it. You remember everything a lot better. So even web searches are much better than doing the AI stuff. And the study I'm referring to very specifically did an EEG scan on people who are writing essays, no help at all, a group that were writing essays with just Google search, and then a group that were writing essays with AI. The group that were writing essays with AI, 5 minutes after writing their essays, didn't remember a thing about their essays because they were just copy pasting. The people who were using Google search engine and the people who were using nothing at all had pretty much comparative outputs because there's an amount of structuring your thoughts and distilling information that you have to practice yourself, and that's good. Suppose you could ask the question and the AI suggested multiple different answers. Would the act of being forced to distill from several different results make it less mental atrophy? No, because see, the problem is that the AI distilling the answers for you means that you eliminate your creative ability to creatively distill what that could mean. Right? So the AI system, because it's a large language model, it's not creatively distilling information. All it's doing is statistical word, I guess, like combinations. That's not creative at all. Whereas your brain, you can take all of these ideas and relate them to previous ideas and relate them to your own experience and make it yourself and draw parallels. And the way that you distill information is going to be very different than the way an LLM does. So it's not even close. It doesn't even resemble your ability to do it. So again, the argument is do it yourself. Like these things, yeah, some of it requires effort, but we already have solutions for this stuff. And the $500 billion spent last year on AI, none of the AI companies are profitable despite taking $200 a month from you. For what? What are we getting for all this crap? It's nothing. It's a waste of money and energy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here now. I keep threatening to go. I'm actually out of here. I'm leaving. Peace out, everybody. You can catch me on Discord. Come on and ask questions if you guys want to talk about this some more. Perfectly happy to talk about it some more. And peace out. Again, Avocado, thank you for the raid. Thank you for Frozen for the sub. Thank you for the follows on the different platforms, whoever it was. Thanks everybody for the support. TMX, you continue shilling me. I do appreciate that. Laugh, you suck. So Laugh's going to suck 3 times now today. All right. You guys are awesome. Catch me tomorrow. Catch me on Discord after this. Just, at me or whatever. I'll keep an eye out and see if you guys are around. That's it. Stay safe out there. Okay. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. Stay safe out there. Use your brains, please. Don't take what I say for granted. Yeah, use your brains. I beg of you. Please use your brains. Please. I'm a high school dropout. All right. Question me. Use your brains. All right. I'm out of here. Bye, everybody. Oh, man. I forgot, you guys. I forgot. I'm talking to ELIZA, and I've asked ELIZA, what should I do to make myself feel better? And you know what ELIZA said? ELIZA said that instead of just accepting that people, make me feel stupid because I can't pronounce names correctly, I should in turn make fun of all of you back and tell you all how much you suck. And she's given me a list of people in chat who suck. So I am now going to go through this list and tell you all how much you suck so that I feel better. So let's begin. If I could not choke. Streamlabs, you suck. Amagod, you suck. TMX, you suck. Avocado rated me, so Avocado gets a pass. Avocado doesn't suck. Hitokiri, you suck. DDabber, you suck. Sir Elfman, you suck. 10X, you suck. Johnny, you suck. Who else do we have here? Sophie, you suck. Ghost Magic, you suck. Let's see, Restream, you suck. Go back. Deagle, you suck. Moomy, you suck. I know you guys are new. You guys are in from the raid, but nobody escapes the suckage. Not one person escapes the suckage except Avocado today because he did the raid. Let's see. Laughing Panda, you suck. You do for sure. You suck. Gene, you suck. Laughily, you suck. There's the third one. Laughily. Laughily sucks 3 times. You earned it. Frank, you suck. There's still Eliza's slowing down a little bit. Okay, she was written in assembly with a few punch cards, and the hardware's a little bit old, and so she's just spitting out some names, and I just know I got to be patient with her. All right, got to be okay. Vinny, you suck. Peercoin, you suck. Vamp, you suck. Birds, you suck. And I think that's it. I think that's everyone. Everyone sucks except for Avocado today. All of you suck. Come back tomorrow and I'll tell you all how much you suck. Or you can hop on Discord and I'll tell you all how much you suck. Bye, everybody.